Welcome all to the weekly outlook. Boone here from EWPRO. Jumping straight into the weekly outlook, starting with the DXY. We got that WXY. We're looking for that X2 down to 38.2 and then the Z up on the daily. The H4 sort of looking at this A, B, C in the B wave. So I'm at least looking for a C down in here, down to this 100 fib. And then if you get a buy set up, well, you could look for the buy. Up here, I'd be starting to look for the sell. We are getting the bearish divergence. So on the H1, there's no, it's not really giving a sell signal yet or sell setup. But any sell setup that you get, look for that sell. AU on the daily. So we've got that WXY, X2. And then I was looking for a Z down. Instead, we got this, like I've mentioned many times before, we got this complex correction in here for an A, B, C on the weekly. Now we are starting to get bullish divergence, so that's a good sign. We can start to look for the buys. We sort of got 1, 2, 3 down breaking this low, so I'm sort of looking for a flat in here before we get another one down. On the H4, you can see what I'm looking for. This may be the end of wave B. We do have that bullish divergence. We're starting to get a break out of here. So any sort of buy setup you get, look for the buy. We do have the bullish divergence on the H1 as well. It hasn't given us a nice buy setup though. So we really need to wait for a nice buy setup before we can sell, before we can buy. And even for the sell, now that we have all the bullish divergence, it's very risky to sell as well, and we're not getting those buy setups, a nice buy setup. So if you do get a buy setup, look for the buy. I'm only interested in the buys at this stage. EU on the daily. So we got that WX extended wave white. We'll be looking for the X2 up to the 38.2 and then the Z down. On the H4, we have got this nice impulse up. Then we got 3 down. So again, I'm looking for an impulse up for a flat correction before we get more downside. This is something you don't want to miss because this may be the bottom. So any bullish setup you get, you definitely want to try and get onto this. Take half off here at the 100 fib and then just let the rest run, because it may go a lot higher and give us a larger correction in the X2 up to this 38.2. So any sort of buy setup you get, you can start to look for those buys. On the H1, we may still have one more down. As you can see, we may get an X2, a bear hidden in here, and we get that Z down, and then any buy setup, look for that buy. GU on the daily. So we've got that WXY. We'll be looking for an X2 up to this 38.2 and then the Z down. H4, we're starting to get this bullish divergence, but if you remember, we had that bear hidden in here and it went and broke the low, giving us a bullish divergence. But this is, again, this is a very choppy wave in here, just breaking the low. So this may be a larger flat. If I just zoom in a little bit, we can't rule out this as a flat for an A, B, C in here. And then we get an A, B, C. So just be mindful of that if you are buying this. Just go down to the H1 for. So on the H1, you can see I'm looking for a motive structure, looking for a W, X, Y, X2, and a Z up. So if you get any bullish setup in here, you can look for that buy. And new on the daily. So we've got that W, X, Y. We're down to that 161.8 now. It may still go further. We don't have any bullish divergence, but eventually we'll be looking for an X2 and then a Z down. On the H4, again, it's getting very tricky. You can see what I'm looking for. Looking for an A. We got 3 down in here, so a B, and then I'll just be looking for that C up to the 100 fib, and then another one down. But any buy setup you get, I'll be interested in the buy. We've got the bullish divergence, so any buy setup you get, look for that buy. Just up to the 100 fib. Similar to GU, we're just looking for that 100 fib. Take half off at the 100 fib, and if it keeps on going, you can save the rest, but take at least half off at this 100 fib if you're in the buy, because it can fall over from here. UY on the daily. So we got that WX extended wave Y. I'll be looking for an X2 and then the Z up. We've got the 5 up. On the H4, we got the WX, Y, X2, the Z up. It's gone further than we thought, but we're getting all this bearish divergence. There's no way you can start buying up here. You're looking for the sell. So any sell setup you get, you can start looking for the sell. It's sort of, it's not giving, excuse me, again, it's not giving us a nice setup. We got one down in here, then we got 3 up. So we may just get an A, B, C, and then more upside. Just looking at the price action in here, it's a large correction. But again, if you get any sell set up, I'll be looking for the sell. The Swissy. So we got this WXY up to the 20, excuse me, the 123.6. Starting to get this correction in here. I believe that's a H4 correction. I'm looking at it as a H4 correction because like I mentioned last week and a couple of weeks ago, we're starting to get a similar size correction. So this correction here is a similar size correction as this in time. So we were looking for this Z up in here. And these are the targets. So yeah, any buy setup you get, look for the buys up to these 2 targets, first and the second target. UCAD on the daily. So this is becoming quite difficult. I would like to see it get up to this 100 fib. It may not get there, it may. It's already complete because we have broken above that wave A. So it can be complete at any time. but I'm looking at that A, B, C. On the H4, last week, I said you can only look for the buy. We broke that top and we didn't have any bearish divergence. So I said you can only look for the buy. We got a buy. Well, we got a impulse going up and breaking the top, and now we have that bearish divergence. So now you can start to look for the sell. It's not giving a sell setup. This is still looking very much bullish in here. You can really, you know, if you're looking for the sell, you have to wait for break there, break the low, and then look for your sell setup. Because as you see here, you know, we lost all the bearish divergence. So more than likely this will give another one up, and then may fall over, you know, for the larger C down. But yeah, it's not giving nice setups. GY on the daily. If we just go to this last section here. So we're looking at that WXY, X2, and then that Z up. We got that Z up with the bearish divergence. Now we're getting that larger correction in here. On the H4, you can see what I'm looking at. I think it's really changed. So we're looking at an A, B, C, and then we're looking at that A, B, C. On the H1, we got the 5 down. We got that WXY, X2, Z down. We had that bear hidden here. So we're looking for that Z down. The problem here now is really like to see it impulse up, breaking this top, and then giving us a buy setup up to that 100 fib. It's made it more difficult because now we got, if I go down, oh, we are on the H1. The problem here is we got a sharp move and a sharp move. 2 sharp moves don't make a correction. So it may just give a correction in here, another one up in here, and then give us an A, B, C, and then give us that A, B, C, or WXY. So you'll have to watch for this possible structure in here, because these are sharp waves. That's a sharp wave and that's a sharp wave. EG, so you can either look at a WXY, X2, choppy Z down, or what the way I'm looking at it, like I've been mentioning, is an A, all this is a B, and then we get that C up to that 100 pip, and then we get an A, B, C. We never quite got up to that 100 pip. Not that it has to, but yeah, we've turned down on the MACD now too on the daily. So you really, it's getting quite difficult. Last week was difficult because we hadn't broken this low, and we got this. This was looking corrective. So I said you can look for that sell, but just be careful. It may just be an ABC down and then give you more upside. We've lost all the bullish divergence now, so any sell setup that you get, you know, you can look for that sell. Gold on the daily. This is very difficult. Because on the weekly, we are looking for another one to go and break the top eventually. The time factor, this is a time factor for it, and we're nearly there. So it can go at any time. Sort of looking at an A, B, C. So I'm starting to look for the buy. Problem is, we got a lower low here in here. So we can really only expect a correction in here and then another one down. But again, it may give us that like A, B, C. So any sort of buy setup you get, start looking for the buys. Just go down onto the lower time frames. Just have to move that out of the way. So like I've mentioned, why this is becoming very tricky, we got that W, X, Y, X2, and we got that Z down, but we lost all the bullish divergence. We didn't get that bullish divergence, so I'm just looking for a correction in here and then another one down. I don't believe it's ready to go yet. On the H1, you can see that you can see how choppy this is down here. Sort of got a break at the low. You're sort of getting a buy setup. You can see that it wants to start to buy. It's really risky though, because this isn't, you can't really call this an impulse. It's not an impulse. So what we want to see is, is a nice impulse up, and then give us your bullish flag or correction, and then look for the buy, or else it starts to get risky, because when we don't get those impulses, it can just go up here and then go and break the low again, and it can keep on going. And you end up getting taken out all the time. So you want to wait for the impulse before you look for a trade. WTI on the daily. So again, on the daily, we got the Z up, but we lost all the bearish divergence. So I was just looking for a correction in here and then more upside. We're getting a correction, and it does look very corrective. It's just a reasonably difficult structure to identify. So I'm starting to look at this as we got an A, looking at this as a B, and then we got 5 up in the C wave. We got that bearish divergence, so we're looking for that sell. So now we're looking for this A, B, C. Now, is this over in here? We don't have any bullish divergence on the H4, so more than likely we can get a bear hidden in here and another one down. If we look on the H1, so if we have a look at this last piece, we got like a WXY. I was looking for an X2 as an expanding flat in here, or a running or expanding flat, and then give us another one down. It's kept on going. It doesn't mean that it's going to go up from here. We have that bearish hidden divergence. So this is a larger correction. So we're just looking at a WXY, and then a larger correction, because this is starting to get a lot larger than this one here. But we're getting that bearish hidden divergence. So, you know, if you get any sell set up like this, you know, you can look to go and break that low, and then you'll be looking for the buy. So if you get something like this, you can scalp it and trade it. This is the one you don't want to miss, this buy. Bitcoin on the daily. Excuse me. So we're looking at the A, B, C in here. don't believe, did we may have lost the bullish divergence in here. I thought we still had it. Yeah, we do still have the bullish divergence. So we're looking for upside, but it may not be ready down in here when we go on the lower time frames. Like I've mentioned, you know, on the H4, we got that W, X, Y, X2, Z down. Problem was we lost all the bullish divergence. So I was just looking for a correction in here and then another one down. If you go back weeks and weeks ago, this is all I've been saying. So I'm looking for another one down in here, breaking that low, giving us a bullish divergence, and then giving us the buy setup. Fortunately, it may not be ready yet. We may still get another one down in here. So it's become quite difficult. If we go to the H1, you can see how choppy this is. It's going sideways, so more than likely we'll get more downside. Like I've mentioned, we've lost all that bullish divergence. So on the H4, so we're looking for another one down. Excuse me. It's not giving us a buy setup, so yeah, if you get a sell setup, you can look for it. It's quite risky because we are at a low. But yeah, if this does go and break this low, any buy setup you get, this is the one you don't want to miss. You can miss this one, but this is the one you don't want to miss. SPX on the daily. So we got that WXY, looking for an X2 and then a Z down. This may be part of that X2. This is where it gets quite difficult, like I mentioned last week. This is quite impulsive, breaking the low. I'm sort of looking for an A, B, C. We got that C up, but it never come and broke the low. It may still break that low, but it's starting to get quite difficult. It's not looking impulsive. I don't think we're going to get a reversal from here. More than likely, I dare say that we'll just get this C wave. This C wave just keeps on going up here and drags on to give us that X2. We get some sort of a large correction in here. I think it's going to be quite difficult to trade for some time. All the indices pretty much. They're not giving nice setups. As you see, we lost all the bullish divergence. So whatever's happening in here, I dare say it's corrective and we'll get another one down. But it's hard to identify a structure in here. If we go down to the H1, we can sort of see what we're looking at. But again, we can sort of look at it as an A, B, C, and then we get an A, B, C in here. This is what I'm looking for. This sort of structure in the B wave in here. I thought this one was going to go and break that low. It would have been nice for an A, B, C, but unfortunately that didn't break this low. So we didn't get the 3 down. Made it hard. You know, if this had given that one down, breaking that low, well, then we could have looked for this buy. It's becoming quite complex. So yeah, that's the way I'm looking at it. It's going to be quite difficult to trade for a while. AU 200 on the daily. So this is, we got that very deep X, and then we got this wave wide down. We're looking for an X2 and then a Z down. H4, we're looking for a W, X, Y, X2, and then a Z down. But again, this may give an A, B, C in here, and then you get an A, B, C, finishing off this X2 before we get that Z down. Looking at the DAX on the daily, so we got that very deep X as well in this one, very deep. And then we've got that wave Y. Looking at an A, B, C. I wanted a C up here. We never got that C. So we've got 1, 2, 3 down in here. So we can start to look at it as 1, 2, 3 in here for a larger correction before we get that A, B, C. So we're looking for a buy in here for this flat, this possible flat. On the H4, we do have bullish divergence. So any bullish setup you get, we've got a higher high as well. So, well, in here. So on the H1, if I just go down to the H1, we've got the bullish divergence on the H4. So if you go down to the H1, you'll see that we've got a higher high. So any buy setup that you get, look for that buy. So the FTSE on the daily, this is extremely difficult as well because we got such a deep pullback. We got a nice impulse, but then very deep corrections. So we can look at it as an A, B, C, and then you get an A, B, C as a larger correction before you go up and break the top again. So this one's quite difficult as well. It's really nothing. There's nothing you can really do. We don't have any bullish divergence for a start. So you can only really look for the sell. But this is looking like an A, B. You probably get a C up in here. And then you get that A, B, C. So yeah, if you wanted to scalp it, you could. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the weekly outlook. If you did, please hit the like button and subscribe, share. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you out there next week.